can punch a dragon with a stone fist. You can have a neurodivergent person and disabled characters in your mediums. Oh, it's pretty! It is so pretty! I love it! Yay!
My name is Bloodthreadshears. I am also known in the dance world as Oriana Amal.
Oh, what am I doing? Oh, what am I doing? Thank you, Kempsey. Oops. As I was saying, thank goodness for the captions down below. The abridged version is this. Post for the Kofi is up on the Sophie dress, as you can see right behind me. The skirt has done. I'm working on the collar and trying to find interfacing around the house. Second bit, I'm going to be in a one-shot over on Greener Restoration's channel. You can type in ! masks to find out more information on that. And Lonzo's going to be joining me too, so we're going to be chaotic and fun. Like, good chaos. The next thing is I will be reviewing Bernadette Banner's new book on sewing and mending. So that will be at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow, because I will be pet sitting in the morning, so Monday morning tea will be afternoon tea. So grab a mug, grab your notebooks, be ready to take notes, because I've got 4 pages worth back to back. So I have thoughts about the book, I've read through it, and I'll share my thoughts tomorrow on what I think about it. And as I was saying, I'm currently privately transcribing the instruction book from the Alleyman's Tarot to one of my own books, to give it my own twist and my own interpretation of the cards, which is a religious practice for me, because I am a practicing pagan. I have been since I converted almost immediately after confirmation, when I was still Catholic. But yeah. So yeah, that and I think that's everything for the announcements. Anything that comes up or I remember, I will let y'all know. But it's time for the community board. If you are following along, the community board is where I like to give shout outs to folks or to amplify causes that I believe need an extra signal boost. I may not be able to support financially at times, but I sure as hell can say, hey, check this out. So first and foremost, I'd like to give a shout out to Dimples and Dice. He is the DM of Wayward Revelry on his channel. If you like what you see with his channel and you want to help support the cast and make sure that they get paid, go over to his channel. Their shows usually on 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 a.m. Central. It is a fun show. It has the Red Justice, Awkwardish Panda, Nonagon Dice, Loader, Zerjester, and Panther. Am I missing anyone on the cast? I was just watching it and I moderate for Dimples on that show. My brain is just shot, but it is a wonderful show. It's a lot of fun. A couple of the cast members have a shitposting Twitter account for their characters. So I wanted to give a little bit of a shout out for Dimples on that. If you are able to come on by, say hello, watch the show, and if you miss it, you can go to Dimples' YouTube and check out the VODs when they come up. So let me actually do the shout out for Dimples. And as my command says, they are good quality. He's good quality people. I highly recommend him. So next bit is My friend, Chaos Fae, I've talked about her stuff for quite some time. You've probably seen it during my crafting streams, such as this lovely little coaster. Chaos Fae is a 4th generation quilter, disabled creative, and my friend. Currently, she and her husband are trying to find a new place to live after their landlord terminated their lease without any notice. She's currently raising $7,500 to find a new place to live and also to cover for vet bills. And let me put in... There we go. So if you have some coin and want to help out, please toss a coin to a wonderful crafter. And she's currently open for commissions. So if you want a lovely little coaster, a mug rug, an altar mat, a table runner, or a very lovely quilt, I highly recommend her work. And I cannot say enough positive things about it. Or if you just want to toss a coin to help her out, her Kofi is in the link, and if you want to follow her creations account, the Twitter is also in the chat as well. And last but not least, myself. I'm plugging my own Ko-Fi because of the fact that I'm trying to raise money for a dedicated desktop for gaming, streaming, photo editing, and everything else that I do here, but better. I love my laptop, Betsy Henderson. She's a workhorse, but there are times and things that she cannot do. So, I'm trying to raise $2,500 towards a dedicated tower and 2 monitor setup. Maybe 3 if I'm able to use my old monitor to make it compatible with whatever I get. And hopefully just have everything ready to roll and be able to never have to worry about computer issues for a very long time. So if you have any coin and you want to support, you can make a one-time donation or become a monthly supporter if you don't want to give Jeff Bezos your money. Monthly supporters get blah 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 blah. I need a drink. Okay. So monthly supporters get access to posts before the general public, whether it be the Sophie dress update, personal thoughts on projects that I'm working on, or more importantly, in higher tiers, access to a Discord server that I am still working on. It is slow going, but I promise it is in the works. I have to save up money to get a consultant and make sure everything is up to snuff, because I want it to be a very curated Discord server where you can have access to private streams that I cannot do on Twitch due to technical limitations. AMA voice chat, where if I have a photo shoot with a model and if they are okay with it, you can ask questions, and a once-a-month craft night. If that is something that is interesting to you, you can go over to Ko-Fi and toss a coin. I also have a $1 tier for those who just want to help out and don't require any of the rewards. It's a wonderful way to help keep the lights on, pay bills, and reinvest in the stream. Never any pressure to do so, but I'm always grateful for those who do. Last but not least on the self-plug, I have a wish list. So this is also you do not need to do this, but I will be eternally grateful. It's just a few things that it would improve quality of life for the stream, and also some things I think would be fun. Again, I have to repeat, never any pressure to do this, but I will unbox it on stream and happy stim all the way up to the moon and back. So yeah, that's everything. So while I get my hair ready, how's everyone doing? Who's ready for the Thirst Fest? I know my brand. Because the last time we left off, we were in the woods and something spooky was about to happen. I also have my tea, which is what was left over and I put in the fridge. And like 2 sugars and like a whole bunch of ice, so I made myself an ice, like a slushie. Looking forward to seeing some thirst, but may also just use it to fall asleep too. No, not a problem, Kamsi. I totally understand. Been pretty sick this week, so I'm really tired. Oh no! I hope you feel better. There we go. Ow, ow, ow. Okay. So, I also wanted to show off, like, a new comb that I got. I bought it off of Etsy. It's a 2-sided comb with a wide and a fine-tooth comb. Past the worst of it? Okay, I'm glad. Being sick is terrible, and it sucks. Okay. I am using the wrong side of the comb. Yeah. Oh, and a quick note, I'm fairly sure the air shows are done for the day, but if you hear some loud planes go mew, that's the air show. I heard the Blue Angels pass by a couple hours ago, so it's just like watching a stream and then just going and hearing Roar. Yeah, barring the events of December and January, I've sort of forgotten what sick feels like. I do not like it. I do not blame you, and knocking on wood, I have not been sick in 2 years. Cause like, I like the fact that people can wearing masks can prevent you from getting sick. And also because I haven't really been out. Unless it's like to take my dog for, little adventures. So the next thing I'm gonna do is just add a little bit of oil. I'm using some lavender oil because it makes my hair soft and it smells nice. So this entire room is gonna smell like lavender for a few days. Which personally is not a bad thing because I like lavender. And I've actually noticed like using the lavender in my hair. I don't know if it's like placebo effect or something, but I haven't seen it. Bugs tend to stay away from me. Which, yay. So lavender is a very strong scent. Yeah. And that's why like I brush it, I really comb it out. And like if I'm going out and about, like this goes up in braids and then I cover my hair. And considering it's quite rare nowadays that I actually go out, unless it's like to go over to pet sit or whatever, I don't put strong fragrances on, especially out of consideration for those who do have asthma or a sensitivity. So. And already you can actually see, like, my hair is like a little bit darker. Just from like combing out and making it nice and shiny. Tangential question, how long is your hair? That is a very good question. I know it's in thigh territory. Like, if I were to stand up, it would go past like the very top of my thigh bone. I had gotten it trimmed last year? Question mark. And I did so to get rid of some dead ends. I think it used to be longer before I got it trimmed. And before last year, it was 7 years or so that I had gotten my hair cut. Because I have, it may not look it, but I have very curly hair. It may not be coily or textured. It is still curly for its type. I have photos of my elementary school years of the time I cut my hair super short after watching Lon do it. I was a very strange child. I'm a very strange adult. I have no regrets on that one, except for like the hack job that I did, and it took my mom and then my aunt, who did go take some schooling on hairstyling, to try and fix it, and I looked like a cotton ball. And then the next time I asked for short hair, it was because somebody had straightened it. It was like the stylist straightened it and everything. It's like, oh, this looks great. It looked like shit the next day. I got made fun of for having like poofy hair. Like I used to have to use like half a bottle of gel just to keep it in place, especially in the humidity. And for reference, I live on Long Island. Long Island is surrounded by a lot of water, hence a lot of humidity. I so wanted to cry. It wasn't until like recent years where I learned how to do braiding, I learned how to protect my hair, and realized, oh, I can just put my hair up and be done with it. Like using hairpins. And I'll show in just a moment. But like this is almost as long as my arm. So, you know what? That's fine. So, basically that long when it's braided. I have wanted to like cut it short or do a side shave. However, because I do belly dance and I trade on my hair, I'm known for my hair and the fact that I can whip it. And I say that with 100% confidence. I don't cut my hair because my dance teacher would kill me. And I say that jokingly, because I know there's people like, why would they kill you? It's your hair. And I'm like, you'd think. You would think. Because like I've had told hairstylists, I was like, look, the original intent of me growing my hair out this long was just to see if I can get it close to knee length as possible. And then snip, snip, motherfucker. They're like, what are you going to do with it? sell, donate, whatever was the better option. My hair is technically Rowan, so I've never really done permanent dyes. So I have fairly good hair, and I could probably get a good price for it. And people are like, oh, why don't you donate it to Lacks of Love? No, they're a scam. And they don't always use the hair that's donated. So, yeah. Am I salty about it? Very. And it's also the fact that when I grew my hair out, I noticed that people would want to touch it without my consent. Bearing in mind, this is my own experience, and I know that my experience is different from those of others, especially black women. It's not the same context, but I get it. Where, like, somebody would come up and be like, oh, your hair is so pretty. It's like, remove your hand or I will, and you will not have a hand. Like, the one time I had my hair down and straightened, I was in class when I went back to school for medical billing, and a classmate started touching it. I'm like, that's a little creepy. They got offended. And they said, oh, bleh, 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 and they treated me like shit for a while. And also when I tell people, like, oh yeah, I just want to grow it out and then cut it short, because my hair grows out back. This grows back. Like it used to be mid-back. Like, I have a lot of hair and very long lot of hair. I am tempted to see if I can grow it to floor length, because why not? And also, it's always fun to see kids, when I have my hair down in a braid, be like, oh my god, it's Rapunzel! And if I'm wearing like my nice skirts, I do a little twirl for them, I curtsy, and it's super cute to see them go, oh! And it's great. And technically, I can actually do some historical hairstyles, like those braids or the Lord of the Rings kind of shit. Okay. Next comb. And for the most part, I always want to grow my hair out, but after a certain length, my thinning gets very obvious. So I get tired and I want to cut it. Oh yeah, I've noticed that, because like I did do like a little deep dive once about hair, especially after somebody had mentioned like the same thing. They're like, after a certain length, it just stops growing, and I'm like, okay, that's an interesting thing. Then there's when my meds cause additional fallout, so I've accepted that only long hair may ever have one day in a wig. Honestly, like, I'm in the opposite direction where it's just like, I really would love short hair, but I'd probably have to do a wig, or like if I want to do different color hair because I don't want to bleach my hair, I would just get a wig. There we go. Alright, so probably have a wig. I've heard of people doing that, like I think YouTuber Annie Eleni started growing out their hair, because they wanted to still have long hair, but not have it deal with the issues of having long hair. Like, if they wanted to, like, present masculine, they can just take the wig off. It is something I've considered, but it's like a down the line kind of deal, especially because I think wig making for something custom like that would be a lot of money. There we go. And like that one friend, former friend, I should say, that had complained about like their hair only growing past a certain point. I was like, well, what do you do with your hair? And she's like, oh, I cut it, I dye it, I bleach it. I'm like, do you comb it out? Because like I used to like, what I used to do was, like if I was hanging out with friends and if they were okay with it, I'd braid their hair. It was pretty relaxing for me, and I would test out different hairstyles. And I'd be like, you got a brush on you? Brush out their hair. And like brush out like comb out the natural oils and whatnot. And I'm like, okay, feel your hair now. It's actually really nice. They're like, oh my god, it always feels so dry. I'm like, well, did you brush it? It's also partially why I got into like historical stuff. Especially like playing video or watching streams of video games like The Witcher and wondering, why do we consider peasants to always be dirty? Didn't we all? And like learning about certain things, like, yeah, peasantry did have access to stuff to clean themselves with. And in medieval Europe, there were still bathhouses. And if you had access to that, that's hot water, you get to be clean, and you're not gonna be able to woo the pretty girl at the tavern if you smell like shit. So there is that. And even when I like go to stylists, like to get my hair done, they're like, oh my god, what do you do? I'm like, absolutely nothing. I just leave it the hell alone. And then they're like, what do you do? And I explain what I do, and they're like, really? It's either really or, ah, okay. And then there's the, oh, I could never do that. I'm like, can't do the curly girl method because my obsessive compulsive disorder will make me want to comb my hair out because, one, therapeutic, two, I'm diagnosed with obsessive compulsive disorder, so there's a lot of anxiety associated with it. Okay. So let me switch this over to just chatting real quick. There. I'll switch it back once I'm done with my hair. I do apologize. I just really needed to like get my hair combed out. Because as you can see, it's a lot. And the fun part is, I used to have a wig. It was like a lime green short. It was like a bob with bangs. Because I was supposed to wear it for like an 80s party. I missed the party because I forgot what day it was. But I kept the wig for a while. And then when the first roller derby league I was with, decided to do an 80s themed kind of deal. I wanted to wear the wig, so Googled online how to like put my hair up. And then the transformation was pretty dramatic. Like, I have a high forehead, so seeing bangs that go down to here was pretty cool and very annoying at the same time. Also, like, because my hair is a lot, and it's also very hot underneath that goddamn wig. Like, it itched like a motherfucker. It was just... At times, I'm just like... This is itchy. This is itchy. Ah! It was so itchy. And then, like, when it was time for me to actually take it off, I had, like, 2 wig caps on, because I didn't feel like pinning my hair. I said pinning, not cutting. I was in the bathroom, I took the wig off, took the caps off, my hair came down, and the lady next to me was like... I had to hold it in my laughter. Because it was just like somebody saying, "Sorcery! Sorcery!" So it was really hilarious to me, at least. Because that's actually something I would enjoy doing again. And even like just having like different color extensions, like clip-ons or something, just to add a little extra volume for some of the more poofier braids, or just for cosplay reasons. Maybe. I know there's like... I think it was like 17th century or something. 18th century? 18th century. Like the pomade and power kind of deal. There's like... It was a way to like make your hair like very textured. So like if you saw... What the hell was it? Like Marie Antoinette's portrait, where she was like wearing that chemise type of dress, and her hair is like super out there. That's what they did. So when people are like, "Oh, they didn't wash their hair," I'm like, they did, but they cleaned their hair differently. There we go. Get in the box. And personally for me, for like my everyday, this is like an everyday style that I do for like when I go over to pet sit. Like take this, put this up, like pin it, and then like put a bandana on or like a headscarf. Which I'm using some leftover linen from the apron project to make myself a very pretty headscarf. And a lot of the hairpins that I'm using right now were just from like around the house or from the bathroom, or just like leftovers from when I did pin-up hair. Which, why pin it up? When I'm working at like pet sitting jobs, it's to keep it out of the way, especially keeping it clean. You never know like when it's gonna like come in and like come into contact with something that's like really nasty. Or in the case of when I pet sit my dad's partner's dogs, Pupper is still very young, so when I had my hair down, she would try to bite it. Because she thought, chew toy, nom nom. And for me, I like having my hair out of my face. having it up also keeps my neck cool. So let's... And with how long my hair is, I'd rather keep it up and covered because, one, people don't know when to cover their goddamn mouths when they cough, and due to COVID. Two, if I were to go out like this would be perfectly acceptable as like, oh shit, as an updo. It would be considered a very pretty updo, and also, quote unquote, work appropriate. There we go. Hold on a sec. There we go. That's the top. And as you can see, it looks really nice. My hair is up. And normally when I'm in a rush, it takes me 20 minutes, maybe. Oh, thank you. And so this is like the... I don't feel like putting my hair in a bun, but I want to be fancy. And having my hair like this and smelling of lavender. Yeah, it smells of lavender. It keeps it nice and clean. And because I use the two different combs to like comb out anything that I put into it, and when it's time for me to actually wash my hair, because like I do it once at most, I'll wash my hair twice a week if I absolutely have to. But I keep it down to once a week and then just comb out until the next washing. That way, like, my hair stays clean, I comb it out, and I take care of it. And then when it's time to, like, really clean it, it goes from root, I clean from root to tip, so it takes a while, so I try to, like, keep that spaced out. And then drying my hair is just, like, a pain in the ass. Like, if I want to set my hair in braids, it's not going to dry for another 2 days. So, screw that. Absolutely not. I refuse. I'm stubborn. I know it. Alright, so I'm going to switch this back to when the night comes. Okay. Oh, I just remembered. I have a YouTube channel. Hold on. I just remembered. I now have a YouTube channel. And is it... Oh, wait. I can't spell. There we go. So if you miss a VOD, I now am depositing all of my future VODs onto my YouTube channel. Blood, thread, ampersand, and shears. So it is my full name of this handle. Blood, thread, and shears. Please subscribe and help the channel grow, because I would love to see it become more, and especially like dedicate some videos specifically for YouTube. Like quick little reviews, progress videos that are a little longer than what I can do on TikTok, and just recaps of projects that I've done. So look forward to that, I guess. So, alright, so I'm gonna pause the music. Actually, hold on. It is top of the hour, so when I come back, we're gonna jump right into this game, and I'm going to get myself more drink. And as always, I highly encourage folks to take care of themselves however they see fit. Whether it is to get up and walk around, stretch, having some beverage, food, taking your medication. Please take your meds if you haven't already. Giving your furry, scaly, or feathered friends some scritches and love, however you see fit. Please take care of yourself. I'll be right back.
I cannot authorize that. Not when I know it would put your position in jeopardy.
Can you hear me now? I swear I really should have like a muted. When I start eventually getting emotes, I will get a muted emote because that seems to be on brand right now. All right, so I can't have a repeat of what happened with Piper. Look, buddy, you're gonna have to trust me on this. I try my best to stop my own frustration showing. Need a sound alert or something? I will look into that, actually. That's a good idea. Yeah. Alright, so I try my best to stop my own frustration from showing. Please, August. I need you to trust me here. What if I can find a way to get down there undetected? A way neither of us will be implicated. Interest obviously peaked. They raise a dark brow at me. And how exactly do you propose to do that? With all due respect, Hunter, you don't know the dungeons here. They're right, but... I smile, and they narrow their eyes at the change in the expression. What do you have up your sleeve? Well, I happen to know a few people who can certainly be of use to us. I'm not sure you're gonna like it, though. Go on. Look, you may not approve, but we have a few allies that probably know the dungeons better than any hunter or enforcer ever would. The dramatics and sudden roll of their eyes tell me they know exactly who I'm talking about. Alright. That makes it 16 right now. And yes, I'm keeping count. I'll eventually put in a counter once I figure out how to do that. You want to enlist a bunch of vampires to help us break into the enforcement dungeons. Not a bunch, just the one. Finn has lived in this town longer than literally anyone. August coughs loudly. Lived. He's as dead as a doornail. So you're just going to walk into the dungeons, Casimir in tow, and hope not to get caught. I smile despite oblivious to their distaste to my plan. Ezra, Piper, even Alcar. They can all help too. I'm a fellow autistic and I'm new to the stream. How are you all doing today? Welcome on in, Hufflepuff Disney 20. I'm doing very well, playing When the Night Comes and having a lovely time. I hope your time zone is well. And it's always fun to see another autistic coming in. If it's okay to ask, what are your pronouns? And this way I know how to refer to you. It's awesome to meet you. I'm Sean, and I am a he, him. Alright, do you prefer to be called Hufflepuff or Sean? I'm taking a sip of the slushy. Sean, definitely. Okay, cool. Thank you so much for that. So, do I have your permission to proceed? A pregnant pause follows my question. But eventually August meets my gaze once more. You have my permission. But please be cautious. I am no wiser than you here, and I cannot protect you if something goes wrong.
I came here to make something of myself. I was so desperate to move out of the shadows of my parents. I come from a family that held me to such high standards. Standards I could never dream of meeting, no matter how hard I tried.
It's nice to see another fellow autistic on Twitch. This game sounds interesting. I think I've heard of it before. It is called When the Night Comes. It's by Lunaris Games. It is very interesting. There are LGBT romance, 2 options for poly romance, partial voicing, as you have seen. And it delves into like some spooky stuff. And let me put in the content warning just in case. And I've had a lot of fun playing this. I'm a big fan of Gideon Emery, so he voices one of the characters that you're going to see very soon. And it is a lot of fun, and I tend to turn into a very thirsty pair of shears. Those who have been regulars in the chat can attest, hopefully. The words, "I need a drink," will be uttered quite a bit. And my job as a streamer is to make sure folks like myself who are also autistic feel comfortable, and for those who don't always go on the beaten path, come, pop a squat on the comfy couch, enjoy yourselves. And if you have any questions at all, please feel free to ask. I only ask that you put question in front of it, just so I can actually track it a lot faster. So let's get into this, because we're gonna break into a dungeon. Their words grow terser as the seconds pass, unraveling gradually.
I don't want this to be my legacy. I want to make the world a better place, not a scarier one.
I gather that August has suffered through much frustration, and life has weathered them to the bone. Also, we have a non-binary character. August is non-binary, a they, them, and look at them. They're gonna be next on the romance list. I just gotta do an off-stream playthrough just to make sure for safety reasons, which I will be doing for every romance. And full disclosure, I have played through the poly romance that I have been playing through on stream, just for content warnings and to make sure everything is up to snuff. And the content warning will get updated as we get closer to certain events. I'm gonna love this community. Let's break into a dungeon. Hell yeah! I guess. Okay, so I've actually read that. They quickly gather themselves. I won't let you down. I don't doubt that, actually. I head back to my room at the Wolf to clear my head and try to figure out my hastily concocted plan a little more thoughtfully. Now, this is very on brand for me, where it's just like, I'll think of something. I got a plan. Yeah, this will work. Go home, or like walk away from my superiors and be like, what the hell was I thinking? It's a very common thing where it's just like, what the hell? I stay up pondering the fact that we still haven't been given the name of the latest victim, and I wonder if Harry is keeping it from me for a reason. After my conversation with August, everything feels wrong. A quick, sharp pain rises in my temples. I feel that familiar presence lurking. Despite that, it would appear that no voices will visit me tonight. Because apparently nothing is sacred in this town, I managed to coax Piper's address out of Edna with very little persuasion. I head across the street, unsurprised she lives so close to the tavern, and far away from headquarters as possible. I mean... Her house is small, but it appears to have character, much like its owner. I take a deep breath and I knock. Oh god, she's pretty. I need a drink. She looks surprised to see me, but her expression quickly softens.
I wasn't expecting you, especially because I assumed you had no bloody idea where I live. Are you okay?
A timid smile crosses my lips. I definitely didn't think this is a conversation to be had in the street. She does look amazing! And also, you never see a character of vitiligo and be a romanceable option too. So, yeah. Can we talk? Oh, sorry. Of course, come in. Her house is warm and inviting, the walls adorned with an abundance of gorgeous weaponry, and various plants and brightly colored pillows litter the room. Your home is beautiful. Thank you. I've been lucky, really. I know not all hunters can catch a break like I have. Plus, real estate in this shithole is cheap. We share a laugh, but I can't help but feel a sense of urgency to discuss things with her. I decide now is not the time for pleasantries or stalling. Cutting straight to the chase is the only way. I have some news about Aya. Her eyes widen, flickering to the side, away from me. Aya?
Please don't say what I think you're going to.
I pull the sash from inside my coat and present it to her, but I'm quick to reassure. This was found in the woods, but that doesn't mean she could still be alive, Piper. This has clearly been out there for a while. She reaches out and runs her hand over the ruined fabric, her fingers shaking. With a deep inhale, she withdraws, turning to sit on the arm of her sofa. Why are you here? She looks so sad. Like she's only thinking the worst. I don't blame her. And I can't imagine how frustrated she must feel with the hand she's been dealt. I wanted you to know that I spoke to August last night. They were quite honest with me about everything, really. Oh? They were,
I suppose they told you why I was demoted. I acted without rational thought. I was so angry.
I offer her a smile, trying to catch her gaze. I may or may not have been caught doing exactly as you did. You didn't. I nod, feeling a little smug now the fear of being reprimanded by my enforcer has dissipated. I broke into Augustus Willenheim's office and lived to tell the tale.
Fucking brilliant. You've got guts. I'll give you that.
I shrug, brushing it off. I'm grateful that the mood has shifted from something that feels a little lighter. You know, August regrets how everything happened. They seemed wistful, and I think they miss your friendship. She frowns deeply, fiddling with the edge of her tunic.
They hurt me. I think it'll take me a while to get over that. It wasn't even about the punishment. It was that they didn't believe me. You work with someone for all that time, but when it came down to it, they thought I'd gone mad. Why would I make up such a thing? Everyone jokes about us and our instincts, but they don't understand. When we feel something, we really feel it, you know?
I nod because I do know. Whatever lies within us that grants us our abilities is something we cannot shake or ignore. If we sense someone is in pain or they're scared, we feel it in kind. If we love fully. If we can feel that something feels off, it usually is. They employ us to do what we do for a reason. I wish they'd have better understanding of what or how we feel. She scoffs a quiet laugh, rolling her eyes, and I'm gonna make that a 17, and offering a small smile. If only.
If August wishes to make amends, I welcome their apology, but it will take me a while to trust them again. I was humiliated and betrayed by one of my only friends. They've got some begging to do.
Oh, now that I'd like to see. Shit. Me too. I know, right? I'll get you a front row seat if that ever happens, alright? Deal. Now, I have a proposition. Oh? We're going into this dungeon. I want to go into the dungeons. She stares at me blank, expressionless.
You fucking what? Are you absolutely mad? Fancying a demotion too, are you? Well, let me tell you, it's not all it's cracked up to be.
I throw her a look, and she smirks. You're serious, then? Well, well, I'm impressed. So, come on, then. What's the plan? I'm still putting the pieces together. You inspired me, though. Good to know some good comes out of my suffering, I suppose. Alright, well, do you have any tips? Any kinks you encountered on your journey? The fact that I didn't even get to the door would indicate I failed pretty miserably, wouldn't you say? There are wards. There are guards. It's pretty impossible unless... Well, you know Ezra, don't you? That witch is probably more than a pretty face. Speak to him and see if you can convince him to help. Well, she's right. I've seen him use wards in his shop, and from what I saw of his magic on the other day... You're a genius. She shrugs as if the most obvious statement I could have made. Duh. When you're ready, you know I've got your back. Always. Upon entering the shop, I find chaos. I spot Ezra frantically gesturing at Omen, the demon's tail tightly coiled. I'm wary of approaching him after our little incident yesterday, instead choosing to observe from afar. Okay, I'm dozing off now, I think. Meds and bed call. Have a good thirst session. Thank you, Camsy, for coming by. I really appreciate it. Hope you feel better. Ah, thank you for the posture check. And water. And if you haven't already, please be sure to stretch. Blink a few times if you're feeling some eye strain. Roll your shoulders, unclench your jaw, and stretch out. Water is very important indeed. Indeed, especially because this is going to be a thirst fest. Oh boy. Alright. There we go. I manage to catch Ezra's eye, and he throws me a sympathetic look. He's stressed, his hands full of bandages and potions. He mutters something quick and sharp under his breath to Omen, who then turns and stares at me with wide, sorry eyes as the witch disappears through his purple curtain. If I ask what's going wrong, will you give me an answer? The question seems to catch him by surprise. Then he looks away, lips pursed. He doesn't seem to have forgotten his outburst with me yesterday, or his abrupt departure. Good. It wasn't my intention to trip him with a reminder, but just as well that he remembers. Did you bring someone who was hurt? Brown eyes snap to me almost instantly, and an Omen moves as though to step between me and the entrance to Ezra's back room, then catches himself in the middle of and forcibly drops his arms to the side. He opens his mouth, stammering without speaking. Then his shoulders drop in defeat. A little spark that might have caught on the bandage rolls in his hand peters out.
Yes, but maybe you shouldn't see her right now. I mean...
He licks his lips, a flick of his black tongue visible. It seems so eerily out of place on a face that's so plainly human in its distress.
At least let Ezra see to her first. He needs some space when he works his magic.
Are you hurt? Omen blinks at me, for a moment uncomprehending. Had the thought that he might be the one who hurt not cross his mind at all? Evidently not. His mouth goes round and blushes, and he blushes, looking away and shaking his head. But then he smiles and holds the medical supplies closer. It's fine. It's her I'm worried about. Of course, I guessed. I glance at the door leading to the back, and for a moment of concentration, I can pick up on it too. A hint of power, not unlike Omen's. Another demon. This town is becoming a little too crowded, isn't it? I decide to keep my faith in Omen for now, however, and smile at him reassuringly as I can. I'm sure she will be all right. Ezra is tending to her after all. At the reminder, Omen visibly relaxes. Yeah,
you're right, of course. He's very good at this. He took care of me when I came here.
His words peter out. Omen looks down at his arms, then at the wall, then at me pensively. His tail lashes back and forth, his body tense, and for one dangerous moment, I wonder what he'll do. But my hand stays off my weapon this time, and his burgeoning power stays contained within that slim, fleshy guise. We look at each other until I feel we come to a silent understanding. Omen sighs, his shoulder falling.
Hunter, I owe you an explanation, I think. I owe you the truth.
He fidgets, looking anywhere but me. Oh, thank you for the bits! But steeling himself and meeting my eyes. I relax my stance as much as I can, encouraging. No use pushing when Omen seems willing to speak. But I'm glad to hear that I might finally be getting some answers. Tell me. He smiles, eyes soft, appreciative. Then he takes another breath and begins.
2 years ago, I came to Lunaris. That is, I came to stay in Lunaris after a disagreement with my sire, my father.
His eyes flicker around the room almost nervously, and I find myself straining to detect any eavesdropping presence. But there is none. Omen seems to find the same thing because his shoulders droop again.
You know what I am. I suppose you've already guessed.
He sighs.
Your people call him Lucifer, I think. The fallen divine, the Lord of Hells.
It takes me a moment to process what he said. Demon lore is plentiful and easily accessible when you're a hunter. Even in our years at the academy, we pored over detailed logs of their fiendish hierarchies, favorite vices to exploit, patterns of their appearances. I would damn well hope to know who the Lord of Hells is. Oh, that is very nice. Omen's brown eyes widen, his jaw going slack in surprise. The glamour is truly something, and I'm starting to wonder if he learned it from the witch behind the curtains. It is? He coughs. That was
sarcasm, wasn't it?
Yes.
That was not sarcasm.
No, it was not. Something else also hits me. Our sire? Omen bites his lip and looks away. Then he nods curtly, eyes flickering to the door leading to the shop. Well then. Does your father know that you're here, in the mortal realm? Can he find you? A terrible thought crosses my mind. The burned bodies, the hunters targeted. No. The vehemence of his denial is startling. I quickly hold my hands up for peace, but Omen isn't paying attention. He's shaking his head vigorously, trembling. No.
No, that can't be him. Him or any of his minions. I would have known. I would have stopped them.
His brown eyes are glowing with fire as he stares at me pleadingly. Literal, simmering flames. I can feel the fire in his core standing here, far enough away, and now that I know where it comes from, the familiarity makes sense. That is one hell of a secret to hold on to. And who is that in the back, then? One more colossal fact to add to the messy little mountain of information I've been gathering since stepping foot into this weird town. What else is new by now? I believe you, Omen. Omen's shoulders droop in relief. And I feel something tense inside myself unclench as well. It needs not end badly. It will not. Besides, this would have closed far faster if it were run-of-the-mill demons messing about. Right. Omen closes his eyes and says something too quiet for me to hear. Then he breathes in, breathes out, and slowly makes his way to the counter. He sets all the items in his arms down there. With such deliberateness, I know he's doing so to calm his nerves. Something sneaks through still. I see a flicker of flames about his hair, an intensity to his aura. But only briefly. The pressure fades as Omen raises his head. Blah. What are words? He doesn't look at me as he speaks.
I think I'll just head outside for some fresh air.
Are you sure? Omen smiles at me over his shoulder. The curve of his mouth tense.
I think it's for the best. I don't want her to see me like this, rattled and angry. She's my sister. She doesn't deserve it.
And there we go. He trails off, staring into the distance for a moment. Then he shakes his head and makes for the door, only adding one last thing before he steps outside.
Will you go and say hello to her? I'm sure Elaine will find you quite lovely.
I know sometimes my grammar messes up on me too. My brain doesn't cooperate with me all the time. Exactly. And I like to say, what are words but a miserable pile of letters? But enough syntax. How about you? And I will have that embroidered eventually. So let me take another sip of water. The second I lay my eyes on her, it's more than a little obvious that she is truly related to Omen. Maybe even his twin, Unless the glamour is simply fooling me. What are words anyways? Exactly. Ezra has a poultice carefully pressed her dainty hand, a pile of gauze covered in a thick black ichor discarded upon the counter by his side. She blinks at me once, twice. Her eyes are big and brown, and every bit as earnest as Omen's. Oh, hello. Her voice is disarmingly sweet, almost musical even. I smile at her politely, looking to Ezra for a little guidance. Elaine, this is Shears. Shears, this is Elaine, Omen's twin brother. Ah, yes. I assume Ezra was just as unaware of her existence as I am, but he's polite enough to stay calm and focused. As friendly and as hospitable as ever. It's nice to meet you, Elaine. Oh, you too. Elaine narrows her eyes at me for a brief moment, shaking her head. She looks terrified. She addresses Ezra, but certainly keeps her eyes on me, on my weapon. Where's Amoros? I look at Ezra, my confusion quite evident. I know, the character design is really nice on this. Like, they're done very well, and I enjoy it. And I will say, Ezra, the character on the right, I want that jacket. Like, look at the detail. That is some fine embroidery and fur trim. That is the kind of jacket I would want for winter. I look to Ezra, my confusion quite evident. Amaros? Ah, yes, that. Her face lights up when I say his name, but I gather she doesn't fully understand my trepidation. Ezra turns to address the demon, patting her hand gently. He's just outside, and you're all healed up. But I do think you should go and see your brother now. Okay. Yes. Yes, I should. Ezra releases her, throwing me a sorry look over his shoulder as he turns to quickly dispose of the mess of medical supplies. It was lovely to meet you, Shears. Her demeanor is delightful, and I'm still slowly processing exactly what her brother just told me. Yeah, the devs deserve a lot of credit for the character design. I really like it. Also, Elaine's outfit. Goals. I love it. Yeah, you too. She glances at me briefly before shyly averting her gaze, turning meekly to part the curtains that lead into the shop. The second she's gone, a tall, pale figure bursts through the back door. He looks shocked to see me, but quickly recovers. Is she healed? She's fine, and she's with her brother. I suggest you give them space for the time being. Ezra's words are final and somewhat stern, and Amaros quickly wilts under his vibrant green gaze. His eyes lightly glowing with whatever magic he's just performed. I really don't know how to unpack all of this. What happened to her, and why are you so desperate to be by her side? He stares longingly at the curtain, Elaine's quiet voice on the other side. Then I remember the note on the stoop at the Ibex. A little hurt. This Hewa. Well, I'm courting her, you see. We're together. She was attacked last night by it. The one that's been getting to your kind, I think. Ezra and I share a look, doing little to hide our shock. It, as in the creature? Amaros closes his eyes, sighing heavily. Then he nods. Yes.
If you need to tell us something, we can help. Elaine didn't need to get hurt, so if you know where this thing is...
He looks to me, then back at Ezra, his throat bobbing as he swallows thickly. He's quickly battling with the idea of divulging any more information. Look, when someone's nervous like that, you don't push, you encourage. So let me take another sip. Amaros, it's okay. You can trust us. We just want to help.
They're right. No one will know what you tell us. We just want people to be safe.
Also, you can choose your pronouns in this game. Just as a heads up, because it's a fun game so far, and you can choose your pronouns. So he sighs again, his shoulders slinking in defeat. I just want her to be safe. We can see you care for her a great deal. And we want that too. His ice blue eyes quickly flicker between us. And it's the most animated I've seen him. Why are you being nice to me? My sister and I. He trails off, almost looking right through me. Look, if you have information about the creature, we need to know. People are dying, so I find it hard to hold your beliefs against you if you can offer us assistance. Excuse me. It's an awesome feature to the game, because most games I've seen don't have that feature, and I think they should add that. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot more, and especially with like indie games, and seeing a AAA game do that, that's big news. But I also understand that implementing that takes a lot of work. So like you see here, if you have voicing, you have to pay the voice actor to do he, her, they with every line. Implementing it into the code, from what I understand, is also a lot of work. And I am glad that folks are doing like the groundwork to get that more normalized. I also understand when for those that want to but are unable to. There's a lot of nuance in that. Very well. Aurora has been sneaking out at night as of late. That's not exactly uncommon for her, but I believe she's doing more than satisfying her baser urges. Damn! Ezra looks away, quietly covering a quiet cough with his hand, and he is blushing. We don't have the time to unpack all of that, but I'll store that away for later. What do you suspect? I suspect nothing. I know that she's feeding it, or something at least. Feeding it? Mm-hmm. He seems unfazed. Startlingly so. She may be cruel and cold, but Aurora has a good heart. She cares for the creatures and makes sure that they're safe. Can I see Elaine now? Can you maybe elaborate a little on that first? He shrugs, sighing again. It is what it is. I don't dictate to her what she can and cannot do. I find myself losing interest in her preachings. I just want to keep Elaine safe now. Ideally, we'll leave this wretched place for good, but her and Omen are only just reunited. Would she be so quick to leave him? Maybe not. I think it's best for both of you to stay here and lay low. I'm not sure why the creature attacked her. It hasn't been attacked anything inhuman so far. He looks at me, fixes my gaze, and with perfect confidence. How do you know? A chill rolls down my spine, but I shake it off. You're right. I don't. I'd really like to leave now. You can leave, but I need you to promise me something. He narrows his gaze. Go on. Watch Aurora, and the second you see her do anything out of the ordinary, find me. I will ensure Elaine is safe, I swear to you. Your cooperation is essential. I see Ezra shifting nervously out of the corner of my eyes, but I stand my ground. Amaros continues to assess me. Fine. I will seek you out, and I will watch my sister. Farewell, Hunter. Witch. Well, that was interesting. I anticipate some commotion from behind the curtains, but I hear nothing but silence. Interesting is putting it lightly. How are you anyway? I have a quick laugh because that question feels far too casual for the amount of information I digested in the last forever. Tired, confused, the usual. I suppose I haven't done much to help with that, have I?
I wanted to apologize for not being totally honest with you and for making your life a little harder than necessary. You already have so much on your plate.
He seems genuine, and aside from the odd behavior yesterday, I have no reason not to trust Ezra. I spoke to August last night and Piper in the morning. They know about the sash. Fear flashes across his features, but I quickly reassure him. It's fine, Ezra. They're on our side. They want to help. Even Gus? Yes, even August. Are you sure it's not magic? Because that seems like an impossible task. I shake my head profusely. No magic here. His smile grows. He seems to relax exponentially. It's nice to see. Then let's talk. He takes a deep breath.
The reason I was so hesitant to discuss Aya, or the Enforcers for that matter, is because I used to work for them.
You were an enforcer?
Hell no! I went in and I assisted in the infirmary or morgue whenever they needed an extra pair of hands. Healers, good healers, are few and far between around here. It's what I always wanted to do, to apply my skills where most needed. Helping those who dedicate their lives to ensuring our safety was an honor. The murders began and I examined the first body. You can even call it that in the state that it was in.
I listen intently, taking this all in. A little perplexed, a little off guard.
Something shifted within the headquarters after that. They started treating me differently, called me in less. And then, when I was there, they kept me clear of any hunters. It became quite clear they didn't want me there any longer. Information was being kept from me, important notes about the victims I was supposed to be examining. The Aya incident happened, then another dead hunter turned up, and they revoked my access.
They took away all of my notes. Notes? He nods, glancing over at the kitchen counter. I may have had Piper retrieve them for me. If you'd like to take them, there's not much, but you're welcome to them. We're gonna take those notes because every little bit of information is going to help this investigation. Yes, I'll take them. He opens one of the kitchen drawers, pulling out the pile of parchment. Then he discards what looks like a fake wooden bottom. The notebook is nestled safely beneath it. Here. I tuck it away inside my jacket for later. So why were you so afraid to tell me this? You did nothing wrong, and you were helping people. He offers me a sorry gaze, his brow furrowed, fingers curled into fists at his side.
They don't like people talking about it, about the deaths. Many of us have our suspicions now, and they know. I think they'd do anything to keep what's happening quiet.
Like not telling me who the latest victim is. Exactly. I wasn't even sure if I could trust Gus, but I wanted so badly that I pushed my apprehension aside. You're right to trust them. They're on our side. They're scared too. Oh, Gus. I just want all of this to be over. What are we gonna do? I smile and Ezra's expression lights up. You have a plan. I have a plan. So, as I said, I will be doing a poly romance between beautiful wizard and the other character who you will see very soon. I look deep into his eyes, hoping that I can wash away some of the weight that he carries. The toll has taken on him is obvious. I can't do this without you, Ezra. I need you. Anything you need, I trust you. I smile, taking his hand when he offers it, and he squeezes mine tightly. Together. Together. Piper and I are going into the dungeons to see if we can locate Aya. If we can talk to her, I think we might have a start. Everything leads back to when she was arrested, as far as I can tell. How on earth are you going to get down there without being caught? That's where you come in. It may involve you and August working together. Does Gus know about this little plan of yours? I grimace, waving my hand in a so-so gesture. Partially?
You're lucky I trust you, and I'm here for you. Just tell me when and where.
Thank you, Ezra. Now, how can I find Finn? Why, a secret passageway, of course. You're in the right place. Hold on. I gotta move my mic back. Secret tunnel! Secret tunnel! Hi, I am Fandom Trash. Welcome. Let me take another sip. I think some of the slushy has melted. I shall brew this again tomorrow and make it a slushy. This was really good. Alright. He bends down, kicking aside a colorful rug to reveal a hidden hatch. It creaks open loudly when he opens it, a gust of cold, stale wind rising from its depths. Well, I mean, I am Fandom Trash. And I am a fan and purveyor of the garbage. I literally ran with a friend of mine a one-shot that we called the Cursed One-Shot. So yeah, We watched a very cursed anime and kind of spiraled out from there. Walk
for about 10
There we
minutes,
go.
and then when you see candlelight, it's the third door on the left. Don't be alarmed by any vampires you stumble across. They're all friendly.
I nod, taking a deep breath. I lower myself into the hatch, gazing up at him with a smile. See you around. Alright, so I am actually going to save really quick because in this house, we save our progress. I work with Adobe Photoshop. I know what it's like to lose your progress. It's not fun. At all. Alright. The incessant drip, drip, drip of water guides me forward through the darkness. The stench of damp and decay fills my nostrils as I sink deeper into the corridors of the catacombs. Saving is very important. The pitch black path is long and winding, and the only sound I can hear is the tap of my boots on the wet stone. Eventually, I see candlelight flickering ahead. It would appear that I finally found life. Well, kind of. I remember to look for the third door on the left, just as Ezra has instructed. But as I approach, I find it wide open. I peek inside, and the stark contrast between the literal tomb outside and what I find in is most definitely Finn's quarters is astounding. So, I've been on Tumblr since 2013. This shit's aesthetic as hell. That's all I'll say. This is nice. Before I get the chance to take in the view, a cool breeze brushes past me, ruffling my hair and sending goose flesh prickling down my skin. A small, darkly clad girl appears before me in a flash, her eyes the brightest crimson as they bore into me. She stands with her head tilted and a toothy grin crossing her lips. Are you lost, human? She stares me down, wide-eyed, clearly trying to intimidate me, but she seems playful? I'm here to see Finn. She relaxes at the sound of his name, and her striking gaze sweeps over me like a caress. She shrugs, pursing her lips. So you're the one he won't shut up about, huh? Well, you do smell good, I guess. Smell good? Is Finn here? She licks a fang, and I notice how similar some of her more human quirks are to his. She's far less poised than him, but I almost feel like that may be on purpose. I'm in Finn's territory here. Neutral territory, so I quell the desire to be defensive, even though her eyes are the color of a creature who drinks human blood. He's somewhere here. Around. Doing stuff. Helpful. Her smile widens, and she turns to poke a crystal decanter of whiskey that sits nestled in the corner of as many bookcases. Are you part of the clan? A quick nod, almost too quick to catch. I am. She pours the rich amber liquid into a glass, swirls it, sniffs it with a dramatic grimace, and sets it aside untouched. Her nose is crinkled in a barely disguised disgust when she looks at me again. I wish that thing you're looking for would stop killing hunters, you know? Because that means more of your type will come. Then more enforcers, which is the last thing we need in this shitty town. I hear footsteps, loud ones that echo off the stonework in the hallway. Shears. And this is Finn. He's who we're gonna also romance. So this is gonna be fun. I need a drink. And you'll see why I'm a big mess right now. I suspect he knew I was here, but his shock is charming nonetheless. He looks at the girl, who throws him a decidedly wicked, wolfish grin. A picture of innocence.
Raven, are you being nice?
The girl, Raven, shrugs, sliding up to him and resting her head on his shoulder. She rolls her eyes enough, that's 18, hard enough that I'm surprised they don't fall back into her skull. Yes, Dad. Finn's face drops, eyes narrowed. I get the impression if he could blush, his cheeks would be the prettiest shade of pink. I stifle a laugh, and with obvious delight, Raven notices. Raven? She laughs, and the sound is loud and obnoxious, but somehow still charming. She shoves at him playfully, but Finn remains stern. Are you going to introduce me to your friend? The suggestive waggle of her eyebrows doesn't go unnoticed, and Finn sighs heavily, offering me an apologetic smile. Shears, this is Raven. She's I'm his kid. There's a low, exasperated rumble of warning in Finn's throat, and I find myself enjoying the way he bristles in her presence. Finn throws her a death glare, and she proceeds to look guilty, but just a little. He raises a single dark brow at her, and after a quiet scoff, she enthusiastically steps forward and offers me her hand. It's really nice to see you, Shears. This guy hasn't stopped gushing about you, so thanks for giving him something new to mope over.
I do not mope.
Raven rolls her eyes. 19. And I finally take her hand. Her grip is firm, and I wonder if she might be trying to unnerve me when her startling eyes widen exponentially. Hurt him, and I'll eat you. Got it? I open my mouth to respond, but before I get this chance, she's laughing again. Finn looks mortified, and he carefully pries her hand from mine and ushers her towards the door. It's time for you to go, I think. Raven pouts, raising both of her hands in defense. I was joking, obviously. I like them already. She offers me a little wave and rises to her tiptoes to press a kiss to Finn's cheek. He looks at her with unabashed fondness, a small smile creeping onto his lips. Go. Say hello to Lux for me, and be good. He runs a hand over her shorn scalp, and she swats away at him playfully, scoffing much like a teenager would at an embarrassing parent. I'll do more than hello. Say hello. Bye, Shears. He gives another disapproving rumble, and Finn looks like he wants to chase her and to administer another pep talk, but he stops himself. And with that, she's gone, the door slamming loudly and shaking its frame. Finn groans, running an iron hand over his face as he walks to grab the whiskey Raven has poured him. She's interesting. She's your... He sips his drink.
She's a pain in the ass is what she is. But I suppose she's my pain in the ass. I sired her, so she's my responsibility. She jokes about me being her father, but I suppose I am, in a way.
He takes a small sip of whiskey, savoring the taste for a moment before he speaks. Though I prefer Big Brother. Father would make me sound so... old? His laugh is charming. Yes, old. She tends to look after me much more than I look after her. She's a good kid. I'd be lost without her. I nod, observing him quietly as he sets down his glass. Sire bonds are powerful, and it's interesting to observe such a casual, healthy dynamic. Did you choose to turn her? He frowns, shaking his head. Well, no, not exactly.
It's complicated, but I made a choice that I'll have to live with forever. Literally. I'd seen too many die at the hand of my sire, and something about her struck me. He planned to leave her for dead, but I couldn't let that happen.
He smiles, and it's painfully earnest.
We're kindred spirits, I guess. As much as I have regret for cursing her with immortality, she's the closest thing I have to a family. Now, what brings you to my neck of the underworld?
He leans back against his desk. I need you. He raises his scarred brow, his dark hair falling from in his face as he turns to set aside his drink. You do, hmm? He smiles at me and his smile has me rolling my eyes. That's 20! And I quickly try to distract myself. Let me rephrase that. I need help. I need your help. I have a plan, and I think you may be of use. He laughs, a raspy chuckle.
I'm all yours, Hunter. Do with me as you please. Just tell me where and when.
I need a drink. Oh god. Wait. I have the right thing, the right tools, for the right moment. Oh god. Oh boy. Okay. My cheeks are beet red. I clear my throat, the double entendre making my skin feel hot. He smiles, and I know the bastard can hear the unsteady flutter of my pulse. Piper and I are going to attempt to break into the dungeons beneath headquarters. His pointy ears flicker, almost flattening against his head before they put themselves to rights. He can't seem to mask his surprise, nor his apparent interest. I'm not blushing, you're blushing! I'm not blushing at all! Ooh, boy. The dungeons, hmm? He whistles, scuffing his boot against the stone floor. I can help you, but I may have a favor of my own to ask you if you're bold enough to venture down there. I narrow my eyes at him, contemplating if I want to tangle myself into yet another web. What is it? He pushes away from the desk, standing tall. An important member of my
clan has gone missing, and I'm positive that they have him. As I'm sure you know, any trust for the enforcers is wavering. I want my friend back. He's done nothing to warrant being thrown in a dungeon.
His hands ball into fists at his sides. His prosthetic flaring brightly before it fades into its usual dormant, dull glow. Excuse me. How do you know they have him? I don't. They have an excellent defense system that prevents any of us from detecting him, no matter how close we manage to get. He would not just abandon us. He's either detained or dead, and if it's the latter, I just want to know. You're sure he wouldn't just leave? Your clan isn't like others. Maybe he would want to change. He looks frustrated. He runs his fingers through his hair, leaving it messy.
Fierro wouldn't just leave. I know he wouldn't. I trust him more than anyone else in my clan, even Raven. We both suffered at the hands of Levi for centuries. We were healing from that together. He was the only friend I had when I was with Levi. And he saved me more than once. I owe him this. If he's ash and bone in a forest somewhere, then so be it. But if he's okay, then I must save him. The only family creatures like me have are the ones that you find, so I intend to keep them safe as long as I can.
The information on Finn's sire is sparse outside of the fact that he was notorious and cruel, and I wonder how such a seemingly kind man could have followed him for that long. Call it morbid curiosity. Ow. Do you mind talking about him? About Levi? Finn grimaces, folding his arms across his broad chest. His posture loses his usual confidence. I suppose. I take a seat upon his bed, and he pulls out his desk chair. The first thing I can think to ask him is loaded, but I need to understand. Why did you stay with him for so long? He looks at me wide-eyed for a beat before he manages to formulate a response.
I don't know if I can answer that. I still truly do not know. He was good at making sure you had nothing left to go home to. So he was all that I had. I'm not the kind of man who does well with loneliness.
A wry smile crosses his lips, but Finn looks impossibly sad. What did he take from you? He swallows thickly, casting his gaze to the side.
Everything. He took my fiancé, killed him right in front of me before he took my own life. I was an orphan, and I didn't exactly have many friends. Gabriel was truly all I had. He destroyed our home, all of our memories, even took my name from me. He took it all, and he did everything to make sure that I needed him. I followed him like a lost puppy for centuries.
Did you ever try to escape? When you found others? He nods.
Many times. I had a few periods of freedom, but he always found me. He tended to collect vampires with abilities like Fierro and myself. Maybe to make up for the fact that, aside from his advanced age, he was truly unremarkable.
And now? He's dead and you're free. You seem to be managing well for someone who endured all of that. He sighs, rubbing the back of his neck with his iron hand.
I'm trying to shape myself into the man I always wanted to be. Before the whole being undead thing. I try not to dwell on things that happened to me. I was bitter for long enough, but I cannot change any of it. All I can do is be the opposite of what he wanted me to be.
I smile as I observe him. I register how comfortable I feel in his home. The thought of stepping into the den of a clan before all of this would have sent me on edge. But now? You're doing a great job, Finn. His mouth curls into an earnest grin. Thank you. I give you permission to kick my arse if I ever dare step out of line. Duly noted. So why do you think they would take Fiero especially? If you're so sure he's innocent. He shrugs, clearly quite confident in his theory. And you can actually type in !socials to find out where I am online. Because he's valuable. He's an empath, powerful one. If he saw something that he wasn't supposed to, or even if they just managed to overpower him and get him alone. I rarely let my clan members patrol by themselves, regardless of our supposedly stable relationship with the enforcers of this town. But I was foolish. And Fiero is a good, sweet talker. He sensed someone in distress in the woods, so I allowed it. Therefore, if anything has happened to him, it's my fault. Finn prides himself on being the opposite of his sire, and I can see this is eating him away. You can't blame the blame on yourself. You didn't know. Plus, if he's as valuable as you say he is, his eyes light up when they meet mine, fingers twitching upon the surface of his desk. Then they could be using him. So he's still alive. I smile in return, tilting my head this way and that. Well, ish. He laughs, and I can't help but join him. So, you'll check for me? I nod. I will. So, what is it that you'd like me to do exactly? Well, no one knows this town quite as well as you. I was hoping that you'd have some secret little passageway tucked away from me to use. There are wards and other nasty little tricks in this place to stop people like you, like us, getting in. I'll worry about that. Now, about that passageway. His grin is wicked, and I think I have my answer. I'm your guy. Just say when, and I'll be there. If you need anything else, just come running. I bid Finn farewell, and now I only need to find one more friend. I saved the most stubborn till last. Alcar is waiting for me when I return to the wolf. It doesn't surprise me anymore when I catch his eye across the tavern where he's been nursing a mug of ale, clearly pouting. So actually, let me do a quick time check. So let me do that. So we are well past top of the hour, so I'm actually going to take a quick break. And for those who are new here, I highly encourage you to take care of yourselves however you see fit. Whether it is to get up and stretch, get some water, get some food, take your medications if you have not done so already, giving your furry, scaly, or feathered friends some scritches and love, however you see fit. Be sure to take care of yourselves, and I will be right back.
Took you long enough. Was wondering if the bad shit got to you. So your superior can come knocking on the door and catch us? Not a chance. Would you prefer the graveyard where those damn Woodridge twins can probably hear every word we say? Not all of the woods are dangerous. I would know. I live there. Now, I ask that you trust me. A little while ago, I got into a fight with one of your hunters. Well, not one of yours exactly, I suppose, since you just got here and all, but one of theirs. Some bloke, don't even remember his face all that well. It was during a full moon. I had an argument with my sister. Didn't go well. And when I transform, especially if I'm upset, my control isn't as good as it could be. But I know I didn't kill him. Would have damn well remembered that. If you ripped a man apart with your own claws and teeth. But when I came to, he knocked me out, I guess. You hunters and your annoying little gadgets. Your enforcer friends were already swarming over us like hornets. But there was no blood. Not mine, not his. Okay, smartass. The point is that he vanished. Poof. The enforcers, dragged me off to their fun little dungeon and kept me there for fuck knows how long. A week, I think. Maybe more. And then they just poked and prodded me a bit. Then they let me go. Felt like they wanted to do more. Like they had plans for me. But maybe it was too dangerous to just snuff me, I guess. I know too many people. Ezra, Finn. But here's a question for you. What do you do when a creature hurts a hunter so bad, he apparently isn't walking around anymore? They didn't. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you hunters don't get retirement leave till you can't walk on two legs anymore. There's enough of you lot running around this place, and I don't keep an eye on everybody, okay? Especially not that one, I guess. Since I don't even remember his scent that well. Must have been forgettable. And why exactly should I have told you? Oh, by the way, we've got a demon prince in town. He's easily spooked, but don't you worry about that because he's harmless. Like that would fly. Back into my hovel before the big handsome vampire comes to scold me about staying out in the cold. A plan, Well, don't worry too much. I'll be a stone's throw away, whether you like it or not.